because Bird was upset by Blake Borman of Purdue.
Yeah, and Borman did what you're supposed to do, right? They had a close match, 5-4 last time they wrestled. Bird, had him on the edges early, and you just saw Lucas Bird just not used to being in this territory, right? Big matches, he usually wins. But it was just such a great job by Borman, and you got to wrestle to win, Rick. You can't wrestle not to lose, and it looked like Lucas Bird did that, and Borman took advantage of the opportunity.
It's also a situation we just don't see where Lucas Bird was not the aggressor. He was playing defense for so much of this match, and Borman was able to take advantage. You look back at what took place at 157. Now, officially, the win by P.J. Duke over Brandon Cannon was an upset because Cannon spent most of the year ranked number 1. But it's been a long time, Alex, since he's been on the mat, and he looked rusty.
Yeah, and you got to give it to P.J. Duke. He got shell-shocked in that catcher-bone match earlier in this year, and he's just been lights out ever since. Obviously, you got to say Brandon Cannon hasn't wrestled in a while, his second match back, but Duke, oh man, was he awesome on the offense, man. He just took so many shots and finished them clean, and he looked like he was just at another level, Rick.
A 20-7 major decision, and as you and I were discussing before we started the show, sometimes a sport needs a guy who can be a little bit of a villain, and he kind of brings that attitude to Penn State and to all of college wrestling. At 65, of course, Mitchell Messenbrink is the massive favorite. But what an upset by Andrew Barbosa of Rutgers, who knocked off Joey Blaze. It was Blaze's first loss of the year.
Well, you have to wrestle. I said it earlier. You do have to show up and wrestle at the Big Ten tournament. You can't not wrestle. And look at Blaze. You see her on the edge. What are you doing? What do you have your heads in the mat? And great job by Barbosa. I mean, I have never seen that move. Some people are calling it switcheroo, spin around, but he did a great job wrestling the very end, and just Blaze got caught looking at the clock, and Barbosa took advantage of the opportunity.
An unbelievable technical move right there. Not just the athleticism to be able to do that, but the knowledge of where you were on the mat to keep the foot inside the circle and make sure that takedown counted. Certainly that and the upset of Lucas Bird, kind of the two shocking moments early on Saturday. But we do have some things that we expected taking place, like 9 Penn State wrestlers making it to the semifinals, and almost all of them, save perhaps 1 or 2, are actually expected to be the favorites. So let's dive into some of the matches that we'll see on Saturday night in the semifinals, and we start at 133 with Marcus Blaze going up against the veteran from Iowa and Drake Ayala.
Yeah, and Drake Ayala, the Big Ten tournament hasn't been his best, right? You've seen it last year, you saw it the year before, but you know what? Here's a job to get a clean slate, right? It's your last year. You make the best of it. Marcus Blaze, wrestling phenomenal. We'll see what happens. I mean, the last match was close, so it's at Bryce Jordan Center. It's going to be tough for Ayala.
And Ben DeVino is on the other half of that bracket, a guy that for Ohio State has been absolutely unbelievable this year. At 57, we just talked about P.J. Duke and how dominant he's been since the middle of the season. He takes on Cannon Webster in the bottom half of a bracket that also includes top seed Antrell Taylor.
Well, this is the Cannon Webster tournament. We saw it last year at 149. Upsets Shane Van Ness. Obviously fell to Ridge Lovett in the finals, but he's been there before. P.J. Duke, wrestling phenomenal. So I think this is going to be a clash of fire and ice. Two different styles, like Cannon Webster likes to tie you up, slow the match down. We saw Duke, he just fires. So we'll see what happens at 157. I do expect Duke to get into the final.
I have a feeling that 74 on one half of that bracket, the upper half, where you find the number 1 seed Levi Haynes against another veteran in Carson Hartslaw, who, when he is healthy, has been a really dangerous out against any opponent he faces.
Yeah, and we've seen that, right? We saw the match at Ohio State. It was close. I mean, that's obviously a year ago, different year now. But Carson is one of the guys that Levi Haynes has a lot of trouble with. He's hard to wrestle. He stays in good position. He doesn't give up a lot of points. Does he have the offense? Is the real question. Levi Haynes, again, another Penn State guy that looks phenomenal. It's at Bryce Jordan Center. A lot of things going for him. So, again, 174 would come down. Can Hartslaw take him down?
The bottom half of that bracket's also entertaining because Pat Kennedy from Iowa and Nebraska's Chris Minto have both been absolute nails so far in this tournament. One of those two will advance to the finals on Sunday. And finally, at heavyweight, you start to laugh because I know how much you are looking forward to watching the match between Nick Feldman and the always entertaining AJ Ferrari.
Hey, if your last name's Ferrari, you know the means are rooting for you, man. He is just the villain. I love watching him wrestle, and he brings flair. He brings everything you want to wrestling. I know the antics not everybody's a fan of, but these two guys have gone 2 matches now, and Feldman has had his number, so we'll see. This is when it counts. I mean, obviously next week as well, but Again, if I had any match circled right now, it'd be 285.
And I know that these guys have some grudging respect for each other, but I put the emphasis on grudging because I don't think there's any love lost when Nick Feldman and A.J. Ferrari step on the mat, perhaps adding to a little bit of drama. Of course, Michigan's Takedowns is the #1 seed in the heavyweight bracket. Time for us to stop talking and for them to start wrestling at the BJC. Our crew, Shane Sparks, Jim Gibbons, Tim Johnson, and Zach Mackey are on the call. Enjoy.
It's the nation's premier wrestling conference, the Big Ten, where tonight's 40 Big Ten Championship semifinals. As action continues here in Session 2, the Nittany Lions leading the way ahead of Ohio State and Nebraska. The Fighting Illini and the Hawkeyes currently locked up in 4th place. Hello and welcome to the Big Ten Championship semifinals. So glad to have you with us, Shane Sparks, alongside Tim Johnson, Jim Gibbons. We'll shortly hear from Zach Mackey. Tim, let's start with you. Talk about the expected and the unexpected. One thing that was expected was Penn State showing up. That's been the case.
Well, sooner or later in wrestling, the mat tells the truth. Looks close at the top. Penn State at the top. Ohio State, Nebraska pushing for tonight. But the mat's already started talking. Penn State has 9 in the semifinals, and with this arena and the roar of this crowd, Penn State's ready to take control.
I turn to you, Jim. The quarterfinals, again, as expected, lived up to the hype. What a round.
It really was. Nittany Lions won some exciting matches and some tight ones here. Led at 157 by P.J. Duke. He was able to beat Brandon Cannon, who was ranked #1 for a lot of the year, coming back from injury. But how about this? He put up a 20 spot on Cannon. Impressive performance by the freshman. And they also won some tight ones there. You see that Rocco Welch in a tiebreaker. He probably expected that type of action here between these two guys. Angelo Ferrari, quick escape right there, was able to go ahead and hold on at the end. They won it every possible way, the tight ones and the blowouts.
We bring in Zach Mackey with more on some of those upsets.
Yeah, no kidding, Shane. I mean, we said 133 pounds was must-watch TV, but we had no idea how much it was going to be flipped on its head. And that's exactly what Purdue's Blake Borman was able to do with a 7-3 victory over Lucas Bird earlier today in the quarterfinals. He gave the #1 ranked wrestler in the country his first loss in over a year, and that snapped a 29-match win streak. Right now, Borman's got some work to do. He's the lowest seeded wrestler to make the semis in any weight class here with the Big Ten Championships. Then we go to 165, where Andrew Barbosa of Rutgers, he was trailing till the final 12 seconds. He got a takedown after it went to challenge review over Joey Blaze. That gave Joey Blaze his first loss of the season, and Barbosa is looking to become the 4th Big Ten finalist in Rutgers history. But he's going to match up with Mikey Caliendo, and I talked to his head coach Scott Goodale there of Rutgers. He said, listen, he's a guy in Caliendo that gets to your legs, he shoots, and he shoots. How our counter, how we attack the counter is going to be most important. They're 165 pounds. But we kick it off at 125, Shane.
125 pounds, the #1 seed, ranked #1 in the nation, undefeated Luke Lillidahl for the Nittany Lions, and the Hoosier Jacob Moran. Jory Volk, an All-American 2 years ago, then at Wyoming, meets Nick Bouzakis, ranked 2nd in the nation. Bouzakis, just the one loss this season. That was to the Lillidahl in the dual meet mid-February here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. What a scene here inside the Bryce Jordan Center was just last month when they set an indoor attendance record with over 16,000 fans as they watched their Nittany Lions defeat Ohio State in a battle of undefeateds in a 1-2 showdown. And here we go. It is semifinal Saturday nights here in University Park, Pennsylvania. Luke Lillidahl, ranked #1. He was an All-American 3rd a season ago. And Jacob Moran, Jim, has been really impressive, wrestling well, putting points on the board.
Yeah, he has been. He's a really solid wrestler here, good defense, and he's going to need every bit of that here going against the offense of Lillidahl. One thing about Lillidahl, he runs to the corner about as well as anybody out there. I mean, good attacks, and he just seems to get better and better as the match goes on.
Nick Bouzakis and Jory Volk. Volk in his first season in Minnesota, Tim, and he's done well in that maroon singlet.
Yes, he has, and he puts up points, but he's going to have to weather the storm of the first period of Bouzakis. He's dangerous. He goes for the throat early.
Yeah, with that, we talked before about Buzakis here being a 133-pounder. He's challenged himself here to go ahead and be a 125-pounder.
Here's Lillidoll in on the legs, and the Nittany Lions strikes for 60 seconds in. Lightning Luke, 3-0.
Yeah, just great work there at that point in time, just going ahead and running around, scoring the points. I look for Buzakis to maybe even look for something big right here. Now a situation here where Volk has on the leg. Can he go ahead and switch off to the double and get his hips?
Jory Volk and Buzakis met at the national duels. It was Buzakis getting the win.
Yeah, and Jory Volk did the thing that he needed to do. Get out in front, get control, not get in trouble, as Jim was talking about. Now he's controlling the hips. Got a good ride on top.
Nick Buzakis, as Jim mentioned, coming down from 133. He's been spectacular for the Buckeyes at 125. Just that one loss to Lillidoll as Volk gives the escape. It is 3-1. Buzakis and Volk, they're on the right, 110 first period. Lillidoll the first takedown. And with another attack on a shelf single leg.
Yeah, right there on the edge of the mat, collects the far ankle.
Lillidoll, Jim, last year, phenomenal in his true freshman campaign, wins a Big Ten title, goes to Philly at the national tournament, takes third. What have you seen in his progression this season?
Well, I think he's just, you know, his temperament out there. I mean, he's gone through this whole season here, went through the freshman campaign right there, finishing third in the country. You know how difficult that can be. He used to walk into this season with a lot of confidence. He's done that here, and he just seems to be just enjoying himself, just another level here, and that just makes him that much more fresh. He's certainly a fan favorite here.
Jory Volk back in his home state. He's from Lakeville, Minnesota. Lakeville North High School, was a 4-time finalist, 3-time champ. He's up on Buzakis, 3-1, 25 to go. What has stood out to you, Tim, in that match?
Well, right now it's the control of Jory Volk. He has controlled the center. He's controlled the positions. He pulled the trigger when he had the tie that he wanted, and almost had a second takedown, but Buzakis did a nice job of rolling out of it. There, I like Buzakis getting in. Both these wrestlers are not afraid to put themselves in wrestling position, and let it fly a little bit. And now Buzakis in, but a little too late.
Here's Moran, final seconds of the first period.
Going to go ahead and running out of time, kind of late on that shot.
Lillidoll with a pair of takedowns, the #1 ranked 125-pounder in the country, up by 4. He's got the choice. Takes a quick peek at his corner, and he will defer. Moran goes underneath. Volk goes on bottom, leading it 3-1. Luke Lillidoll, originally from St. Charles, Missouri, began his high school career at Christian Brothers College, then went to Wyoming Seminary, where he captured a pair of prep national championships at Wyoming Seminary. Lillidoll and Buzakis were teammates at Wyoming Seminary for a season. Lillidoll, riding time over 60 seconds. Volk adds to his lead with the escape up 4-1.
Watch him knock Moran off of his quad pod stand-up right there. May just go ahead and let him up here. Feels confidence on his feet, but you know he can ride when he needs to. Lillidoll can. Looks good wrist wrestler and wrist rider there in that situation. And I like to watch the left hand of Luke Lillidoll. You know, it kind of guides me to where he's going. He's so quick, as we mentioned many times before. But I watch that left hand to see where he's going. It's the lead hand on a single lead, swing single. Also his high crotch to the other side. This takes you a lot of places. And there's that left hand going around that leg right there. That swing single he's so effective with.
Inside of a minute to go in the second period. Shin whizzer there for Moran. Lillidoll continues to work on a single leg finish. This weight class has 9 allocations to the national championship tournament, 2 weeks in Cleveland. As Lillidoll on the edge continues to work. And Volk, Tim, 4-1, 32nd second period.
Yeah, he has continued to come forward. He's continued to get the underhook, control the tie. All of a sudden now, he's working, going downhill a little bit, and that feels good for him.
Here's a shot from Volk. Buzakis looking to roll him through. But Buzakis unable to defend, another takedown, and Volk inside of 15 seconds, a huge takedown in short time, and a 7-1 lead.
Things are flowing for Volk right now.
Yeah, he did a great job of covering the hips in that situation. He did try to go up high up on the shoulders, get too much here, just covered the hips.
But one thing we know with Nick Bouzakis, he is a home run hitter. There might not be anybody at this weight class that can take you feet to back like Nick Bouzakis.
And to Jim's point, he's at a place now in March that he's capable in the third period where 3 months ago might not have been. You know, coming down from 33 to 25, he's done it right. He's been way more explosive through 7 minutes.
Lillidahl, scoreboard reads 6-3. Have an official review with Moran and Lillidahl.
Looking for that takedown. Yeah, Lillidahl was in on that leg there, the left leg of Moran, and came close to going ahead and getting those points. But
with more on this review, here's Zach Mackey.
It's a shame the call is upheld. They just went over. They did give 3 originally, and the officials were the one who wanted to go over and look at this. No challenge brick thrown here for the first match, but the officials, after looking at it, confirm it was a takedown.
Thank you, Zach. So that was a review by the officials, and they can look at video at any point. A challenge brick would not be counted against Penn State.
Jory Volk really having the match that he scripted, and he's doing such a nice job because as Bouzakis comes to his feet, tightens in with the hips, lifts, sags down. He's not allowing Bouzakis to get hips separated, any kind of dangerous roll.
Riding time for Jory Volk over a minute. Lillidahl with riding time over 60 seconds. Lillidahl and Jory Volk in control in their respective semifinals. Lillidahl with 3 takedowns, Volk with 2 takedowns as the Gopher up by 6. And he is 35 seconds away from handing Nick Bouzakis his second defeat of the season and avenging a loss to the Buckeye in mid-November.
Really impressive work by Jory Volk. Made it look rather easy.
Lillidahl 10-3. Down to 45 seconds. What a performance from Jory Volk. A couple of takedowns, riding time over 2 minutes. And Jory Volk of Minnesota is going to wrestle for a Big Ten title at 125 pounds. 8-1 with that riding time point. Domination from the Gopher.
It really was from start to finish. He kept position. He pulled the trigger early for the early takedown, and he dominated on the top.
Luke Lillidahl, for the second time in his career, will wrestle for a Big Ten title. With the riding time point, it's a major decision, 11-3. It's Lillidahl and Volk tomorrow for the Big Ten crown at 125. Luke Lillidahl, ranked number 1, remains undefeated. 133-pound bracket. It is our featured bracket. It's brought to you by Defense Soap. Defend what you have built. Marcus Blaze, the undefeated true freshman. And Drake Ayala, the 2-time national finalist. Ben DeVino and Blake Borman, the 10th seed. Borman knocked off undefeated, the reigning national champion Lucas Bird in the quarterfinals. Marcus Blaze, undefeated, the 4-time Ohio State champion from Perrysburg, Ohio. And Blake Borman knocking off Lucas Bird earlier today. Borman from Evansville, Indiana, won an Indiana State title. Ayala and Blaze met in the dual meets. Blaze, Jim, beat the Hawkeye 4-2 in mid-January.
yeah, it was a tight match, and you know, you take a look at these two guys, and you're going to go ahead and getting a good low stance here. Both athletes have a little slide-by technique, especially Ayala. He likes to go to that early in matches, drop down into a single leg. In that previous match, Ayala made a little bit of a rush there, and Blaze was able to hang on. So difficult to score on, and what's impressive about him is he just doesn't come out of that stance. He just gets elbows in, really low. And I can see that where Ayala is trying to match the height right now. He's doing a pretty good job in making a nice adjustment here, getting low himself. He's dropping down to a knee, but only to get into a good tie-up that he wants to have.
And Tim Bendavino scoring quickly.
First of 1,000 shots. He's the man of 1,000 shots in every match, and he's already shot successfully on that first shot coming around a fast 3. You are just not going to get away without having to fend off shot after shot. His attack rate is off the charts.
I think he's a pretty good finisher too, Tim. His ratio, once he gets on a leg, he ends up like a 90% finisher.
Drake Ayala, 2-time national finalist, fell to Richie Figueroa of Arizona State 2 years ago, then down at 125, and was defeated by Lucas Bird of Illinois in that 133-pound final last March in Philadelphia. Blazing Ayala, no score after 2 minutes. Jory Volk will wrestle for a Big Ten title at 125. He's with Zach.
One decision here for Jory. Jory, you're wrestling for a Big Ten title tomorrow. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome. It's actually what I came here to do, so yeah, sounds good.
You're bleeding. It was a tough match. How difficult was that match out there?
It was hard. That's a kid that he beat me back at the national duel, so his match coming into the tournament I knew I wanted, and I knew it was going to be a fight, and I went there, got a couple takedowns and a hard ride to put it away. So it was fun. I love those hard fought matches.
Best of luck at the finals tomorrow, Jory.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jory Volk will meet Luke Lillidahl. Bendavino, just the one loss on the season. That was in this arena mid-February against Marcus Blaze. And Davino, the 4-time state champion out of South Elgin, Illinois, St. Charles East High School, is exhausting the scoreboard, TJ. This guy is non-stop offense.
Yeah, he's devastating. His attacks have been devastating. It's a 4th takedown in the first period.
Taking him to his back that time, collects, looked like at least 3.
15-3 for Bendavino. Ayala and Blaze on your left, scoreless after 3 minutes. Joyce goes to Ayala. The Hawkeye takes a look into his corner and will go underneath to begin this second period.
That doesn't seem to be unusual for Blaze to have a scoreless first period. He goes out there and holds position throughout the course of the match, not ever backing up or backing out, but not always getting to his offense right away. But now in the top position here, he will try to make it difficult here for Ayala with a mat return, and see, go ahead and try to control Ayala.
You look at the 4 wrestlers right now on your screen. You have Blaze, a 4-time Ohio State champion. Davino, a 4-time Illinois State champion. Ayala out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, a 3-time Iowa State champion. Mentioned Borman won a state title at Indiana. 133 pounds, our featured bracket. Of course, big upset. Borman knocking off Lucas Bird, snapping Bird's 29-match win streak as Ayala's on the board with an escape.
Good quick escape right there. Nice little limp arm stand-up right there. Was able to get to his feet and end up making a nice turn, collecting the points. I don't think Blaze followed him as tough as he would normally. That's got to be a confidence builder here for Ayala, just to have this type of score right now. And, when you have that, get that escape, it's a great time to basically go out there and get on your offense, and see what, if Ayala can do that. The nice thing about what Blaze does, he doesn't push into you very much. Keeps that good low stance, and that slide by is going to be tough for Ayala to get. So he's got to go ahead and look at more of, head to the outside shots. Nice sweep single.
Inside of a minute, Ayala with the escape, early second period. The lone tally on the board. Another takedown for Davino, and he is on the hunt for a tech fall. He's got 55 seconds in the second period. He'll give the escape.
Hunt's the right word. He came across, lowered his level, and came with a double from space, and now he's looking to finish it off, and does. Wow.
Corrals both ankles. 21-5 a tech fall for Ben Navino, the true freshman. The young superstar for Ohio State cements his place in tomorrow's championship final at 133 pounds. Short time second period as Ayala and Blaze continue to wrestle neutral. Blaze will have choice in the third. Ayala down to a knee, now works up.
Ayala's been able to match him as far as the height. You saw it last time I think they wrestled. Ayala got a little high in his stance and Blaze was able to take advantage of it. Ayala competing well in this situation, and only 16 seconds of riding time for Blaze, so we'll see if Ayala tries to stay in the top position.
It is a packed house here inside the Bryce Jordan Center. Off the whistle, switching side, slides into half Nelson as Blaze works to his feet. Tight waist for the Hawkeye. And there's the quick escape, and this match is knotted at one apiece. What are you looking for, Jim, in this stage of the match?
I take a look at the elevation of both guys, and right now they're forehead to forehead. So who can be able to get a quick corner like that? Nice shuck there by Ayala. But you notice, I'm noticing Ayala a little bit lower in his stance right now, and it's making it difficult for Blaze to get his offense off. There's all the makings of a tight one coming down the stretch here.
Of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes, a national finalist every year since 1990. Can they keep that streak alive? If they do it, this might be the guy to do it in Drake Ayala. Back in 1990, they had two national champions, Terry and Tom Brands.
Heavy collar tied there by Ayala. Nice job of coming back inside with that left arm as Blaze. Again, both athletes not conceding anything as far as the height in their stance. They want to wrestle low.
They met in mid-January. It was Blaze 4-2. That was then. This is now. We're down to 45 in regulation.
This is the formula for Ayala. You don't want Blaze to get out in front. You don't want him. He gets out in front, you can't catch him. He has kept him here to, like Jim said, it's coming down. You have a chance at the end.
I think when he tried, Ayala, you want to hit that slide by and go right into that single leg. But, even when you get into Blaze's legs, he does such a great job of sprinting out and mule kicking here. And then when you follow him here, he cuts the corner on you.
Drake Ayala, the number 5 seed, ranked 9th in the nation. Blaze ranked 2nd. Lucas Bird came in ranked number 1. Final seconds in this third period. Each guy with an escape. Ayala and Blaze head to sudden victory. 2 minutes on the clock. Riding time is cleared. As both combatants toe the center of the Resolite. There's a look at Terry Brands. Ryan Morningstar in that picture as well. Quick shot there off the whistle from Ayala.
Counter shot there, fought out pretty well. There's a shock attempt, but boy, gosh, gets in that three-point stance and squares up as well as anybody in the country. You see what he did there? Put the left hand out there, got his feet moving and squared up on his stance.
Great footwork by both wrestlers.
This is such a weight class, not only in the Big Ten, but nationally. So many young hammers here at 133. Ayala, he's the veteran.
Blaze stealing that left-hand collar tie right there. He's working inside with that. Right there, steals that left-handed collar. Now comes to the underhook.
Iowa's last Big Ten champion, Real Woods. At 141, he beat Brock Hardy. Halfway through this sudden victory.
Mentioned the difference in the gap here. They couldn't have met in high school. One was in junior high.
Deep shot there from Marcus Blaze and the Nittany Lion in sudden victory, 4-1.
Just a beautiful shot.
Tomorrow night, it is Blaze Davino, Chapter 2. The Nittany Lions with Lillidahl at 125 and Marcus Blazer at 133. Deep shot.
Beautiful job coming off that left-handed collar into a left-handed high crotch there. Easy finish there for Blaze. Hard-fought win.
141 pounds, Jesse Mendez, the two-time national champion, is coming up next. Brock Hardy in front of his wife, pinning Vance Vombar to claim the Big Ten title. And it is again Hardy and Vombar tonight, this time in a semifinal. Top half of the bracket, Jesse Mendez, the two-time reigning national champion, and Nasir Bailey. They met at the national duels. It was 17-1 Jesse Mendez. Mendez undefeated this season in the conversation for the Dan Hodge Trophy, looking for his 100th victory in that Buckeye singlets. And Jim, he has been some kind of sensational.
Yeah, just basically driven, you know, his ability to come back last year after losing this tournament, winning the national title. And then now this season has just been dominant the whole time. And not just, you know, slightly dominant, really dominant. His attack rate is high. His timing on his shots has been almost picture perfect here. He has as easy a finishes as he possibly gets, and a lot of it's just knowing when to go.
Brock Hardy, a three-time All-American, fell to Mendez in the national final last March. Got out to a quick start, 5-0, but Mendez rallied back. Vance Vombar, a pair of 8th place finishes on his resume. So these guys, TJ, familiar with each other.
Yes, they are. And if Jesse Mendez is the best wrestler in the country, I think Hardy might be the guy that loves the sport the most. He shows joy. He has a lot of fun to watch. And then Van Bauer, oh my goodness, you're not going to get away without wrestling a full 7 minutes for this two-time All-American.
For Brock Hardy, wrestling is fun. Van Bauer, the Hurricane. This is the 5th meeting in their college careers. All 4 won by Hardy, as I mentioned most recently, that Big Ten final last March at Northwestern.
And if you're the guy that gave up the fall last year in the finals, your attitude is, you know, maybe I'm not going to chase him this much here to get in those scramble situations, give up that big move early. I want to make this match look a little bit different or feel a little bit different from my opponent.
Mendez and Bailey, no score midway through the first period, as Mendez using that underhook to take territory on the Resolite. Hardy, such a great scrambler.
And if you're going to beat a scrambler, be the scrambler. And Van Bauer is trying to come out the backside.
Both ankles are tied up there, now just one.
40 to go in a scoreless first period. Both these semifinal matches are at 141-0-0. And there is a stall call on Bailey. And that is a point for Mendez as Jesse quickly hustles back to the center. I mean, Jim, that's a dog on a bone.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, his attitude right now is taking territory, going forward, inside ties, getting Bailey to back up a little bit. Just bad visual.
Brock Hardy from Brigham City, Utah, 4-time Utah State champion. Cool moment for him. A few weeks back, got to wrestle back in Utah against Utah Valley. What a job Adam Hall's done there at Utah Valley. Some great dual meet crowds. Great for the sport. Jesse Mendez, Crown Point, Indiana, 4-time Indiana State champ, 157-1 in high school, and he's brought that success to Columbus.
Yeah, Bailey did a nice job of getting away from that single leg shot that Mendez has. So this has been a good period for Bailey. In held position for most of it, gave up just the 1 point and the stall warning.
Hardy and Vombar to the second period. The Gopher goes on bottom. Final seconds, the first period in the book. Mendez, 1-0.
Really nice job by Vombar coming out, scoring the first point. A guy that has had problems putting himself in bad positions last year, got pinned. Pretty good start for Vombar against Hardy.
Yeah, just trying to dial it back a little bit. Just, you know, Hardy is so dangerous there with his scrambles. You got to know, you got to be sure that you're going to be able to get what you want in that position and don't chase things wildly. Because a lot of times Hardy will let you in on those legs, just so go ahead, you know, cuts the corner defensively as well as anybody in the country, and then hits cradles.
Mendez had a leg in. Now showing an optional start.
And talking about cutting the corner. Van Bauer coming up, but here's Hardy doing a Hardy thing, and he's got it locked.
He's got that cradle locked once again. Brock Hardy looking for a fall in the berth in the championship final, going to readjust. Can he do it again on Vombar? Vombar able to break the grip, but that is how Brock Hardy strikes. He's like a rattlesnake with that cradle.
It's the exact same position. He's really good at reaching in there like a switch and then locking up. Give credit to Von Bauer for kicking his way out of there.
Von Bauer gets the quick escape in the period, then Hardy with a takedown and 3 near fall. And the Cornhusker leads it 6-1. What's it like, Jim? You alluded to it a little bit earlier. When you're wrestling a guy like Brock Hardy, just knowing when to attack, when not to, that fear factor of knowing how dangerous he is. He's the mousetrap.
Yeah, I tell you what's interesting to me is that there was a point in there where Von Bauer just basically tried to get his head away from his knee. He knew the cradle was coming, but then when he tried to square up a little bit there, the head came back to the knee, and that's when the cradle was slapped on.
1-1 with a minute remaining, second period there on your left with Mendez and Bailey. Championship semifinals in the nation's premier wrestling conference. What a night. What a day it's been. Shot there from Mendez. Good sprawl from Bailey. Mendez up 2-1. Looking for his 100th career victory. Mendez on a double leg, plants the Hawkeye down for 3.
Nice job of elevating that bottom knee. You know, he had Bailey on his right hip right there. So what did he do to make sure he's going to get the takedown here? He dropped down to the knee, elevated that, got it about a foot off the ground, and good work.
Brock Hardy, so dangerous. Here's the cradle.
Yeah, he gets the cradle locked up, and before this, you could see where Von Bauer was trying to stay out of it. He knew it was coming, but you know, just the wrestling position took him back to getting his head close to his knee again. And normally, he's going to plant most guys in that situation. Good job of Von Bauer getting off his back.
Jesse Mendez ranked #1, the Big Ten with 9 #1 ranked guys in 10 weight classes. Another score there for Brock Hardy on the reversal. And he's going to take riding time over 60 seconds.
Yeah, he did a really nice job. He wasn't fooling around with an escape when he had the opportunity to get that reversal, which he did. On top again. Flowing for Hardy right now. He's so comfortable here. He's having a good time.
Hardy and Mendez wrestled twice this season at the national duels. Mendez beat the Cornhusker, then in the dual meet opened things up. Bonus point victory for Mendez.
And that's exactly what Mendez is hunting down right now in this situation. He chose neutral.
Jesse Mendez looking for bonus points.
Really working that head hard. Trying to get Nasir Bailey out of position. Inside collar tie. Now he drops back down on that shot. Comes back to head to outside single there. Let's see if he tries to finish it.
Mendez looking for his second takedown.
Yeah, 8-1. Gets it.
Mendez and Hardy, each with 8 points. As they are both closing in on another meeting between the two.
That's an underrated part of Hardy's game here, is his ability to go ahead and tack below the knee. You know, from his feet, he can go ahead and hit the low single as well as anybody. Nice single leg attempt there by Mendez.
There's a stall call on Bailey. That'll be 2 for Mendez. And this is what Mendez does. He just pours it on. Relentless.
Back up to his feet, kicks down. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of this was just set up by the high effort here in the first period.
Late scramble. There on your right. And Brock Hardy, once again, is back into the Big Ten Championship Finals. And Jesse Mendez, for the second time this season, a tech fall over Nasir Bailey as he racked up the points late. And Jesse Mendez has hit the century mark in a Buckeye singlet. Mendez and Hardy, familiar foes tomorrow for the crown at 141 pounds. 149 pounds. Shane.
Cho tổ đi. Chơi. Các bạn. Cái này nào, cái này nào. Bây giờ cũng chứ nào. Này, cho tổ đi. Chơi. Các bạn.